student, are you?
I am a student in the Bachelor of Justice Studies program.
Bachelor of Justice?
Yeah. So I'm doing the 1-year intensive on-campus provision.
Yeah. So, and then what do you hope to do?
I don't actually know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I'm never quite sure about.
Yeah.
I hope I'll figure it out, but there's so many different things to do.
My son took that course and, with thoughts of police work.
Yeah.
And now he's working in a drop-in center downstairs, and that's what he's doing. So
wow.
It worked out there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So. Okay, do you want me to explain to you a bit what we're doing? And
that would be good. That
would be a good start. So it's for a research methods class, and we were asked to do an applied research project and go out and interview justice service workers, people.
Okay.
And so the kind of the background, he gave us a bit of the topic. It was a paper commissioned by the Department of Justice, and they had asked a bunch of different groups that work with ethnocultural minorities or other minority groups, and I guess like a bunch of kind of roundtable sessions, and had asked them to identify what they perceived as kind of gaps in justice, and they came up with a list of 5, 6 items, just differences in access to human rights, and so cultural differences where someone might be afraid to come forth because of maybe where they came from and their perception of the police, and everything from so what we were just asked to do was kind of working from that document, go out and talk to people and see what they thought, and so it's really open. It's I have my 3 guiding kind of questions. The first one was just kind of, I wanted to start by asking you, what does justice, kind of mean, for you? What's your understanding of it? And then the second one is just kind of about the gaps. And then, kind of a third element to look at maybe kind of like bridging the gaps. If there's anything that you've come across in your experience that you changed or realized and everything after and it really worked. So just as a positive element instead of just.
I guess it's important to say that done the work in drop-in centers across the country for 35 years across the country from one. I started off in Halifax and ended up here.
I'll just listen if you're.
And there's just us, meaning just the rich, and then there's just us. And what I've experienced is just us. So the laws, the legislation is built around the rich, and from the tax laws down to the laws that you find on the street, and my family are oppressed under those laws. And the laws are just senseless. They haven't been, the whole system hasn't been really revamped since its conception. You would think that would be a no-brainer to at least look at. Now, I'm not saying that laws haven't been changed, because they have, but I'm talking about a revamping of the system. So I'm talking about a very systemic. It's not been done.
Yeah.
So that has caused 2 things. It's caused injustice for the very, very poor. And it's caused I'm going to call it toilet bowl. Once you're in the system as a child or as a young man or a young woman, it's hard to get out because it's just going around and around. So what we do is we arrest you for selling marijuana, or we arrest you for selling crack cocaine. You're a street person now.
Yeah.
You're going to get slapped in the wrist when you go to court. We're going to arrest you the second time, and you're going to be told you better not do that again. And you'll probably be put on probation. The third time, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. This is just so senseless. You're going to go to jail for 3 months, and then you're going to be released to the very corner that you sold the cocaine on. So, I mean, there's no, and the issue the police are spending on is getting you, who are now a street person, selling the crack cocaine. So the real issues of it coming into the country, where is that coming from? There's more effort in, well, we got 4 people for crack cocaine downtown, and that's the big, a bust downtown. And I laugh at these things. You bust downtown, a house is busted into, and they find a couple of guns, and they find, well, you're looking at the lower level of that whole thing. So that's one thing. And let's look at court. Let's look who's in jail. First Nations, predominantly First Nation, predominantly poor, addicts, and mentally ill. You think we'd say, you know, there's, you know, okay, we've gone around this block a couple of times, and if we keep on going the same way, let's not expect different results. But no, they just keep on going around the block and around. In other words, they never really get to really revamping the system in a new and creative way, which might save the taxpayer money at the end of the day. No, we just keep on going it the way it is. So justice, there's no justice. There's no justice. Now let me talk about justice. Let me talk about if you're 18 and you're 18 and you get picked up for selling crack cocaine, and your dad and mom can afford a crackerjack lawyer. But my son gets picked up and my son gets a duty lawyer at the, you know, well, you're probably going to walk and he's the same crime, the same, you can even be at the same time. You're picked up at the same corner with this guy. So is that justice, or is that just us, the rich? And I don't think there's a justice.
I'm just saying that it's illegal for every man to sleep under a bridge.
It's illegal for every man.
The law is equal. All, you know, no man can sleep under a bridge. But you know, you get the point that not every man, you know, is in a situation where they have to sleep under a bridge. So
you know what we've done too is we've blamed the vulnerable for their vulnerability. So in today's paper, you've got this. I don't know if you've seen this. This is the bread I got. You see this with what's in there. Look at it's about, you know. So they're looking at, but they're not coming up with solutions that are in the article. They're blaming people. You know. And it's always easy to blame people. I could blame the court system, I can blame the police, I can blame the judge. But in reality, it's all of us together in community, eh? It's all of us together in community. So, I don't really think there's any justice. I think there's a system created, and I think in that system, innocent people are convicted. I think innocent people take time. I think guilty people walk. I mean, we're in a imperfect human system, which is natural.
I think this is interesting because I come from exactly the same perspective. And when you ask me what I want it to be, I say I don't know. And there's a lot of things I, you know, kind of think that I might not want to be, you know, social work and policing and that, even though I see the positive to that. But there's another part of me that always feels like that those are just band-aids. That there's this, you know, thing up here and it's feeding, and that no matter how many people, I always ask people, how do you do it? You know, how do you, well, if I can help 1 out of, you know, 10 people, then I feel like I've done something. And like, but that those people are going to still be, you know, they're still being born, the children are still growing up in those situations. Like you say, you know, the disproportionality is, you know, from the initial pickup to, you know, to the lawyers, to, you know, early probation. It's like, it's everywhere, right? Or kids with, you know, FASD, and, you know, the probation officers, police officers, people in the jails aren't qualified. They don't know how to, you know, diagnose it, and they treat, you know, there's all sorts of stuff. But so I kind of see that as patchwork, but I don't know how to change that. You know, if you go into policy writing, if I go into, you know, constitutional law and do all those things, but I don't, like, I listen to you all say all that and I agree, but I don't know what to do.
I wish I could say you're looking at a success. You're looking at 35 years of failure. I moved into the system believing as a young person I was going to solve poverty. Oh, I was so pompous, and I believed I was going to solve it in our country. Forget about our, you know, province or our city. And now I work at, you know, trying to save 1 or 2 people on the street from that dilemma. So you're right. It does not seem to be a win. But recently, there has been a breath of fresh air across the country. The breath of fresh air has said we're going to solve homelessness. That homelessness is an issue. Oh, you're kidding. In every city, and it is a cancer eating away at the very structure of who we are as Canadians. The whole homelessness issue on the street level.